and welcome to the October Business Application NYC Meetup event. As always, right, we joined today by members of the NYC Business Application User Group and NYC Power Platform User Group. We have good number of audience today. Welcome everyone. Some of you are new, some of you are repetitive, our regular customers. Welcome back again. I would like to thank Arik Lavin and Mihir for agreeing to deliver a session on the recently released, right, Microsoft Dynamics 365 and Power Platform 2021 Wave 2 release. I would also like to thank the event organizing committee, Mihir, Ren Fishman. He's not with us today, but Arik Lavin, our MVP, and myself. During the presentation, please keep yourself muted and you can ask questions in the chat window or by raising your hand in Teams. Sounds good. Okay, before we start, let's give a warm welcome to Arik and Mihir. Let me give a brief introduction and two-liners about both of them. Arik currently works for Lazard Financial Advisory as a principal solution architect and manage the business application development team there. He's a consultant, trainer, speaker, blogger, and focused on the Power Platform Dynamics 365. Many of you may know from him from Dynamics Forum or these kind of events, and he's a well-renowned MVP. He started his MVP's journey from 2018, and he's a certified trainer since 2007. Oh, that's new to me. Arik started working on Dynamics since version 3 back in 2004 and engaged as a subject matter expert in Dynamics Power Platform projects covering a wide range of industry and sectors. And most interesting thing about Arik is I know he didn't mention in my intro thing. He play ice hockey, but Arik, is it jiu-jitsu or kung fu? Something, right?
Something, yeah.
I know.
That's history already.
Yeah, he's a multi-talented guy, Arik, my friend.
He's a grandmaster.
Yeah. So next, our very own Mihir. Mihir has 10 years of experience with Dynamics. He's working as a Microsoft Cloud architect for IBM. He does pre-sales, right, Mihir?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. He lives in New Jersey with his wife and 2 kids. In today's session, Arik and Mihir will be covering some of the recent updates that were released as part of the Microsoft Dynamics and Power Platform 2021 Wave 2 release, like I said already. Floor is yours, Arik. Feel free to take forward.
Thanks, Arun. Is everybody able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So just a brief overview. I think Mihir. I think Arun covered most of the stuff. I work for Lazard Financial Advisory. And if anybody wants to connect with me, you have some of my I don't know, my website, my LinkedIn, my Twitter account. I'm always I don't want to say I'm always available, but I try to help whenever I can. So for today's session, I'm kind of going to split my presentation in two. One is changes to the Maker portal, and the other one is the changes to the unified interface. And Mihir will cover some of the changes that are happening in the sales and service first-party apps. So I'm going to start briefly with the enhancements to the Maker portal. There's a few different areas I'm going to briefly cover. Basically, at this point in time, when you navigate to your Maker portal and you go to view your solutions, you have the ability to see the new Solution Explorer. It comes with new 3 components and the ability to navigate and update things much easier. The app and sitemap designer has been revamped, which now basically provides you an experience that you're able to see your changes without having to go and navigate to the app. It's like almost like a WYSIWYG designer. Converged apps was something that was released recently, and that is basically the ability to embed or include Canvas apps, or as Microsoft now calls them, basically individual pages within your model-driven application. I'm not talking about embedded Canvas apps, but this is something slightly different. And finally, what I'll cover is the modern commanding, which is a new way for creating command bars with PowerFX and the Power Platform. And I'll cover the unified interface after. So I'll basically go through a slide, then show a demo, slide demo, just so we can go over it. So the new Solution Explorer provides us an ability to see a preview of the solution and an ability to see all of the components of the solution. It provides an object view that we can use it to filter by object type, a collapsible table view, and the ability to edit the solution details directly from the Solution Explorer. So let's take a look at what this looks like. So when I navigate in my Power Apps to my Maker portal or my Solution Explorer, I go to the home page, navigate to my solution. You will see that on the top right, there's a little toggle that basically says Solution Preview on. If I toggle this off, I basically will have my default experience of what I'm used to having right now, and I can go to any particular component and see it there. If I toggle it, I can basically go to a solution, and you will see basically there's a few slight changes. The first change is within my Solution Explorer window, I have a tree navigation. So we can think of well, Dynamics CRM 2011 back here, or maybe even the classic Solution Explorers or the classic Solution Designer. So I'm able to see all of my components. I can basically go and filter to see by individual components and go directly to those components from here. I'm able to expand tables, and when I expand tables, I will see basically a list of all of the tables that I have. I can go to an individual table, and basically it will show me any type of component within the table that I would like to use. When I navigate to a particular component, I'll basically see the same view that I see on the left-hand side. I'll see it on the top of the entity. So at this point in time, I can navigate directly using my left-hand side navigation, or I can use the top area navigation to navigate between the different areas of the Solution Explorer. In addition to this, there has been some changes of how I navigate to different components. So for example, if I have a flow within my Solution Explorer, so I can go here and click on Cloud Flows, I see my flows. Until now, basically, when I clicked on a flow within my my solution, what it would do is it would navigate to a new window, basically to a Power Automate page where I would be able to make changes to the flow. Right here, when I basically click on a particular flow, I'm still within my Maker portal. Even though what I see here is basically my flow instance, I am actually working within my environment, within my particular instance, within the Maker portal. There is no back button here, so I can't really go back. The only way I would go back is basically by clicking on the tree view. So I can go here, click back on Cloud Flows, and it will bring me back to the previous page that I was at. So that's one of the first changes that were made. In addition to the change here, I'm able to go within my solution to my overview. I can make changes to the details of my solution, such as changing the name, changing the version, just by clicking on the edit details here. Not all of the options are available for changes, but you can change the publisher display name and so on. I also have a view of my recent items. So basically it shows me this is the list recent items that have been worked on. I can run the solution checker directly from here, even though it's available in many different places. And finally, I can go from here directly to configure my Dataverse search so that I can provide the fields and the entities that I want to enable for the relevant search, or as it has been renamed right now, the Dataverse search. Finally, the last thing that I have here is basically a view of the history. So anything that I worked on this particular solution, I can see this solution was exported twice and it shows me the results of this solution. I can see the same results also in my all solutions view. I can go ahead and see the history and it will show me basically a list of all of the items that that I worked on. But if I'm looking for something that is individual related to a particular solution, it's much easier to look for the solution history in this window. The next thing that I'll cover is basically the app and the sitemap designer. So when we create a model-driven app, we have the legacy designer, which basically pops up a window where I can edit, or I can add the different items that I want to the solution, to the app, determining what components I want to add. This has been changed, or basically as an approach, this has been changed. Microsoft doesn't call the components of the app or of the sitemap. We don't add forms anymore. We don't add basically sitemap items. We're calling everything that we put into it, we're calling them pages. So a page can be basically a model-driven app table. It can be a dashboard, or it can be something custom, which Microsoft calls a custom page, or which is very similar to a Canvas app. We still have the same or similar designer on the custom pages as a Canvas app, and I'll go through that in a few seconds. So if I go back to my environment and I click on apps, so I have a few apps over here, and I can go ahead and click on new app and click on a model-driven app. Once I open my model-driven app window, it asks me, how do you want to create this app? So this is something new. In the past, I didn't even have this window. I can say use the classic app designer if this is what I'm used to using, or I can say let's use the modern app designer, which allows me to configure a lot more. So I can go ahead and create a new model-driven app. I'll call it NYC Biz Apps Demo. Go ahead, click on Create. And basically what we get is an empty page. I have not added anything to the app yet. If you look on the left-hand side of where my future page will be, I always see the navigation the same way that I would see it inside my Dataverse environment or inside my unified interface. When I want to add something to the app, I can go ahead and click on Add a Page. And in these options, it asks me what type of page do you want to add. A table is basically an entity, or formerly known as entity, now known as table. This is where I'm going to see my forms, I'm going to see my views, and I'm going to select. Sorry, go ahead.
I think that was an accident. You got, yeah.
Oh, okay. This is where I'm going to see my all of the tables or entities that are going to appear on the side navigation. A dashboard, I can add a dashboard for a particular entity or multiple entities and display them on the sitemap as well. And a custom page is what I mentioned before, a Canvas page, and we'll get to that a little bit later. So I can select my table-based view and form, click on Next, and then it's going to ask me which tables or which entities do you want to add. So I can go ahead, add my account, add wherever my contact is, and if I want to add any other entities, I can add them there. I have the option to add stuff to my sitemap, sorry, to my app without being in the navigation, or I can just specify show in the navigation. I'll go ahead and add them, and you will see this is very similar to a WYSIWYG editor. This is the way my sitemap is going to look. So I can see, can go to my accounts, I can go to my contacts. Within my Maker portal, I'm basically seeing what I would see on the screen if I was looking at this in my unified interface. I can go from here also, and this is where I would configure information related to my sitemap, is to the individual tables. And I can click on account form. It will show me the account form. But on the right-hand side, it will show me basically, here, let's go ahead and manage your forms. So which forms do you want to include as part of this app? So if I want to include, for example, my account and my information, when this app is deployed, this is the only things, or these are the only forms that will be available to the end user. The same goes for views. What views do you want to have enabled for the end user? So I can have my active accounts, all accounts, and any other views that, and maybe my active account. Same. Now, while I'm working on this app, what's going to happen sometimes is like, I'm looking at the form and I might say, oh, there's certain things on this form that should not be the way they are. So let me go ahead and change my form. Well, I can't really change the form right here because I'm technically running my model-driven app, or I'm technically on the form for this new entity. If I want to make a change to this new form, I can go here to the right-hand side where it says Manage Forms, click on the form that I selected, choose Edit Form, and it will open this individual form in edit mode. And I can go ahead and make changes to the form itself as I would be making the changes to my forms, to my forms when I design them directly in the Maker portal. Let me go ahead and close this. Once you're basically done with your app, you basically save your app. Don't forget to publish, because unless you publish, you won't be able to see the changes. Once it's published, I can go ahead here, click on play. It will open another window, or I can go to my apps and go into an individual record directly. So this is basically what I created. If I go to my accounts record, you will see the only forms that are available for me are the forms that I added. If I try to,
there is a lag, maybe. I don't know. I don't see the screen moving. Arun, can you see it?
Are you in the My Accounts?
New account, it says.
My active.
My active account.
Yeah.
Okay.
It shows my.
Sorry.
Is there a lag?
No, I see.
Now I see it. Now I see it. Yeah.
Okay. So what I was just mentioning is the views that I selected are the only views that will be available, just as expected. If I open up a particular form, the only forms that will be available are the forms that I selected as part of the app designer. Okay. I'll go ahead, go back to my apps, and let's continue with the next part. Okay. So the next part is basically what I just showed you. So I just created a new model-driven app using the new designer. But now instead of just adding tables entities, all of this new terminology, can drive you crazy. We basically create a Canvas app, but the Canvas app is not an app that is outside of your platform or outside of your model-driven app. It's basically a page. So basically, within the page, I can specify this is the view that I want. I can create new records. I can navigate to a record from within that navigation. I can even use a client API to display these apps directly directly from within my model-driven app. So I can use this app. So I create an app, don't show it in the sitemap, but when I open up a dialog, it will show me the app inside a dialog using scripting. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to navigate to a different environment and click on apps. Sorry, this was done a long time ago, so that's why it's in a different environment. I'll go into my environment, click on Edit in Preview. And basically what I see here, similar to what I had before, I have the account table that I just added, but I have 3 additional pages. And what my pages are basically are 3 different Canvas apps. Now, when I look at that page, so I have a page called the Start page, a Demo Side Panel, Demo Center Panel. But when I look at the type of the page, it does not show that this is a Canvas app. It shows this is a page. So that is a slight different, and I can go ahead into each one of these pages, and I'll go there in a second and make a modification to it. So how would I basically add a page to my app? So it would be the same way that I did this before. I'm not going to go through the entire process. I'll show you the pages that are already done, because otherwise I'll be here for a few hours. Low code. And I'll go ahead, click on Edit and Preview. I'm going to select Add a Page and select the custom page. When I select the custom page, I can create a new custom page or use one of the existing custom pages that I already created. And we'll call this NYC page. And I have the option whether or not I want to show this page in the navigation. This might be a bug. No, this might have been a bug. I don't know. Maybe something recent. I'll go ahead and click on the page. And if you look at the interface, I can already see on top it says Canvas. So I know this is a Canvas page. The designer might look a little bit different. If I want to add a background image, I can add an image. If I just want to add data from my system, I can create I'll create a gallery. I'll select accounts, and basically this will allow me to show this page. I'm not going to customize it too much. I can go ahead and save this page. I'll call it the same name. Okay. And now I'll go back and I can go ahead and close this. That's fine. And within my app, now I see the NYC business page. I have a start page and I have my accounts. So I'll go ahead and now launch this demo app. And if you see here, so I have my accounts page. I might not have published these changes, and I have a start page. What is my start page? Basically, this is a page, a custom page, or a Canvas app within my model-driven app. It's not popped up in a new page. So until now, if I wanted to basically launch a Canvas app that would be called directly from my model-driven app, the only option would be you click on the link, it would open up either a web resource or a link to the app itself, and that would open up in a new tab or a new window. Right now, I'm navigating directly within my app, and I'm also connected to the app. So for example, if I want to open one of these accounts, I can just click on the link, and it will open up that record. So I can customize my app, and we know that app customization has so much power in it. I can do almost anything. If I want to create a new record, I can go directly from here, and it will create a new record from here. And I can navigate to whatever I need and customize this app directly in whichever way I want. There are a bunch of commands that can be used from between the Canvas app or between the page and the model-driven app that we can leverage. In addition to this, we also have the ability to display an app within. So we already have embedded apps, and embedded apps stay. Nothing has changed with the way embedded apps is working. I'm pretty sure that down the road, Microsoft will leverage this new page technology for that. But for the time being, it is just the way it is. But for example, if I want to show an app inside a side panel, so this is all the app is. It's just showing a label. But this is a Canvas app that opens up inside the side panel. The same option I have to show it as a dialog. So basically, again, I have an app. I display it in the dialog. I didn't customize the sizing and so on, but you have that ability. So how do I basically do this? Basically run the show panel or show dialog? Well, the old-fashioned way. So this is basically going back to to scripting. So if I go to my solutions and I go back to my test solutions, I should have somewhere here a web resource. And everybody familiar with the navigate to JavaScript function? If not, that's okay also. So this is my custom JavaScript function. I can go and open this page, and let me zoom in a little bit. So all I'm doing, basically, I have two functions. One show the dialog, one show the panel. All I'm basically doing is calling the XRM navigation navigate to, but as part of, and passing my page input and navigation options. But as part of my page input parameters, I'm entering I'm entering something that I did not enter before. So as a page type, I'm going to enter custom. This is a custom page, or basically an app. This is the name of the app that I would select, and I can pass also the entity name and the record ID. Or if I just want to open an app without anything else, I can only specify the name of the app. Within the app, once I open it up, I am going to go back here. If I go to my particular app or my particular page, and this is just a short demo. If I look at the onStart function, I'm basically looking, okay, I'm passing this parameter, record ID, and run this piece of code, basically get me the account name for the record ID. So I launch a dialog from my model-driven app. I'm going to pass a parameter to it, and the parameter is record ID, and I'm going to get the account name and basically display the account name on the form. So that's kind of the converged apps. The last part of the changes to the Maker portal is basically what we call modern commanding. So it allows me to create commands within my Maker portals. I don't want to say similar to Ribbon Workbench, or different options at this point in time. Ribbon Workbench is not being deprecated. Well, that's the last I heard, at least. But it allows me to create action or to use PowerFX in order to create particular commands. So when I create a commanding, I can select what type of command bar I want to use. If it's the grid, the form, the subgrid, and are associated. There's a difference between existing or associated commands, and you can see that at this point in time, any command that is available out of the box or that was available before you build a new command using this interface is going to be read-only, and it's not supported. You cannot make changes. You'd have to use the old either Ribbon Workbench or one of the other tools, modify the XML directly. However you want to make the changes to the ribbon, you would have to use the old way to do it until that availability is available in PowerFX or in Model Command. Oh, if we go back to my app, so I'll go back to my demo app and click Edit in Preview. And I have my account table here. If I click on the more items or the three dots next to the account, you will see I have an option called Edit Command Bar, shows preview. Half of the things that are in the Maker portals are showing preview, so that's okay, I would guess. And when I click on that, it will show me, okay, which command bars do you want to edit? You want to add the main grid, the main form, subgrid, and associated. I'm going to select the main form. I've made some changes to this before, and we can look at this. And it shows me, okay, these are all the commands that are available right now. So as I mentioned before, if I click on the Save button, it's read-only. I cannot make any changes, but it does show me all of the information about the command. So it shows me this is going to run JavaScript. This is the library it's going to run. And this is basically the command that it's going to run and any parameters that you're going to use. The show panel, for example, and show dialog that I mentioned before, they are modern commands. I basically specify an action. This is the JavaScript library that I'm going to use. So I basically have the option to select the JavaScript library. This is the name of the function within the JavaScript library. And if I have a parameter, I would specify the parameter. The show dialog does not have a parameter. The show panel, I'm using the primary control to get the record ID. I also added another command here just to calculate a credit limit. You can ignore the highlights for a second because that's some code changes that have been applied after wave 2. So it's still working, but it just highlights as an error. So all I'm doing here is basically I'm setting a variable, set the total credit to be this record that I'm on, the number of employees multiplied by 1,000, and I'm gonna update my accounts or this record, the credit limit field with this value. Pretty straightforward. If I want to add a new button, all I do is click on New Command. It's going to specify new command. I can specify the icon, whether use a web resource or use the out of the box icon. You can enter your tooltip and so on, and then your action, whether you want to run a PowerFX formula or run JavaScript. PowerFX formula, I would just enter the formula in here. Maybe I want if I create it, and that will be added. And the visibility, you can specify always show, or I can enter a condition like whether it's visible or not. For now, I'll specify always show. I'll click Save and Publish. Okay, and now I'll I'll go back to my app. Let's see if I have it open. I'll click on my demo app, open one of the records. Let's see. Let me just refresh this based on the message. So now I see I have my calculate credit limit. I have my new command, which is throwing an error, maybe something I did wrong. I'll click on the detail. I'll specify the number of employees as 500. So click on calculate credit limit. Okay, I just did. I guess I should not have updated the app right now, or the new version of the app. But in general, okay, I'm not going to go there. I entered in the number of employees, click the button, and it updated the credit limit. Something in the logic, it's throwing that error, but it still did that processing. And let's go back to the. Is there any questions until here before I move to the unified interface?
Just one question.
Sure.
Can you control showing and hiding the command buttons depending on the security role for a logged-in user to Dynamics? So, for example, a manager can, hit this button to generate something, but a normal staff member should not be able to see the button to actually do something.
Hypothetically, I would say yes, because it's using PowerFX, and I should be able to leverage the tables/entities from Dynamics. So Dynamics Dataverse. I should be able to get like the logged in user security roles, and based on that, see if the user belongs to a particular security role. I'm saying hypothetically, because I have not tried that out, but I don't see a reason why not.
Okay, yep, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so just for unified interface updates, I'll go through this a little quicker probably, because I want to make sure Mihir has some time also. There haven't been that many changes to the unified interface as far as what is available in the October release. But if you remember, Wave 2 is everything from October till the next release, which is in April. So we have 6 months where Microsoft is going to release new functionality. We're just showing some of the items that were recently released or are currently available in preview. So the items are basically the Multirow Editor. Multirow Editor is basically same as in the classic interface, or until what we had now. You had the ability to make changes to multiple records. This has been revamped to use the unified interface properly. Advanced Lookup was something that was available in public preview until recently. There is many additional options to it. I'm going to just show you some of the options that are available. Grid enhancements. The grid that is currently available is not the final grid. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some other changes to it. There was a grid that was in public preview recently and was rolled back. Microsoft is trying to push accessibility all across the platform. And the final thing that I'll review is in-app notifications, which allows us to see toast notifications within the application. So the multi-row editor basically has a new look. I have the ability, basically, some of the main things is I have a form selector. I have the ability to navigate between the tabs. And also it does adhere to any changes regarding to field requirements. So if I go into one of my apps and I basically select multiple records, I click edit, you will see that basically it opens up a panel on the right hand side where I can basically make changes and edit the form. For some reason, this particular form only had a single entity. So I do have the option. So this is my contact entity. If I have other entities, I do have the option to change between them, because I might have, like in the legacy design, it would only show me a single form. And if I wanted to change the form, I would have to go back to the application, change my form, and then go back to edit multiple records. In this case, I can go directly from here. If I don't see the fields or some of the fields that I'm looking to change, I can go to the other form that I have access to and maybe see them from here. So that was the first thing. The second change is advanced lookup. So what is advanced lookup? Advanced lookup is kind of a way that Microsoft added. Let's bring the functionality that we have on our grid controls and on our searching for the grid controls inside our unified interface, and give the user some extra ability to search or to basically select records. Because sometimes when I just look at things inside my my lookup window, it does not really give me all of the options that I'm looking for. So let me go. This is the environment that I'm looking for. So if I go and open a single record, and if I just look at any lookup control, and this might be not the right one to choose, but let me see if I have a different lookup. Maybe I can use currency. So basically, when I open up currency, it's going to show me the available values I have in the currency. This is the same as what I have right now. Sometimes not so easy to search if I have too many options here. So for that case, I basically have the advanced lookup. It opens up my my records in this lookup view. I have the option to create a new record right from here. Maybe not what I want to do. Did I just lose it? Oh, here it is. But if I go back to advanced lookup, I can search. I have a single item, so it's maybe not much to see here, but I can search for my records. Once I select the records, I can click on the record to see the record in a new panel, or I can just check it. It will show me the selected record, mark it as done, and that will populate it. Now that's the out of the box. That's not a big change, or that's just a little change. But Microsoft introduced a few months back something called polymorphic relationships. Polymorphic relationships is basically gives me the ability to create a lookup so that I can select across multiple entities. So in this case, what I basically did, I have a lookup called vehicle manufacturer, but vehicle manufacturer is actually 3 entities: aircraft manufacturers, car manufacturers, and motorcycle manufacturers. So it's going to show me all of the records from all of the manufacturers. I don't really have the ability to know which is which. You know, some entities might have similar data. So what I want to do is I want to see how I can filter a little bit better by these records. So if I go here and click on advanced lookup, you'll see that on the left-hand side, it shows me this is the list of tables for your vehicle manufacturer. which one do you want to select? So if I click on aircraft, this is what it's going to show. If I click on cars, it's going to show me a different view. If I click on motorcycle, it shows me a different view. And besides the fact, what I didn't show before is I also have the ability to change the views, of course. So for example, if I need to select something that is not available in my lookup view, I can go select, okay, click on my active views. It might show me some additional fields here so that I can determine the correct view. In addition to this, if once I select a polymorphic relationship lookup, that's a name maybe that I invented. When I go to add new, it will add that drop-down option, and it's going to ask me, okay, which record do you want to create? And anything that is related to this lookup or to this advanced lookup will be visible here. Once I select the record, click on done, it will show me the record here, as well as it will show me the same information in my view. So my view will show me under vehicle manufacturer, it will show me that one item. At this point in time, there's no multi-select option. So if you want to multi-select, you have to create your own PCF control. However, if I'm not releasing any information that is not available, if you go to if you have field services installed, you do have a released version of a multi-select lookup, so that I can select multiple option for a single lookup. So I will be able to see all my values here in the form. The values are stored at this point, or until further notice, as a JSON string on the field itself. So if I'm going to look at that field in my view, it's going to show a JSON string. So this is available only if you want it on the form, and at this point in time only in field services. I'm hoping for something better. Okay, the last two. Power Apps grid enhancement. So this is pretty straightforward. I'm going to go through this quickly. When I go to a particular entity or view, this originally was supposed to change. One of the changes was basically the ability to resize the views of the columns. From what I remember, this was not available before wave 2. But the new thing that was added is this column options. When I click on column options, it's going to show me, okay, this is all of the columns that you have right now in your view. Do you want to make any changes? So I can go ahead. Yeah, I actually want to include, I don't know, my shipping method and my status reason in this view. And basically, they'll be added. I can also have the option to include related columns. So I can choose a related table entity. I will select primary contact, and I can select from here, I don't know, birthday. Doesn't matter if it has values or not. So now I see all of the 8 fields that I want. If I want to move them around, I can just drag and drop. I can hit apply, and basically this will show me all of the data. You will notice that next to your view, there's a little asterisk, which means this is a modified view. The one good thing is if I just modified my view and I say, okay, this is what I want for my view, I can go ahead, click here, click on save on new view. And basically I'll have a new view with the changes that I just made. The last thing is, well, what if I want to revert my changes? Okay, I don't really need this. So if I go back to this options, I'm going to show you a bug now. You basically have an option that says reset to default. I click reset to default. It removes it from here. The apply button is grayed out. I'm basically screwed. But not really. Since nothing really here was saved, I can just go ahead and refresh. And I guess there's new changes that have been implemented this week that I was not aware of. so it used to be if you click refresh, it would basically remove all of the columns that you just added. So at this point, I can probably navigate away from the entity, come back, and that will bring it back. Or maybe a hard refresh would probably do the same thing. The last item that I have on the list is basically in-app notifications. So what is in-app notifications? In-app notification is basically you perform a particular action against Dataverse. When that action is performed, you basically want to show the user a notification that this has been created, such as creation of an account, or maybe, I don't know, or maybe I modified a record, or maybe created a relationship, or maybe someone else did something and they want to notify me that that change has happened. So if I go back to this solution and I'm going to create a new contact, and I don't know, let's do, this always works. And account name doesn't really matter. And I will go ahead and click save. So if you expect it to happen within 0 seconds, probably not going to happen. But what you're going to see here on the top navigation is there is a new icon that says notifications, or a notification center. This is my last notification. I didn't dismiss it. So basically it's going to stay there until I dismiss it. I might have dismissed the recent one as well. What this is going to do is once this record is created, it's going to show me a notification. The contact has been created, and it's going to stay here until I remove it. But you can also specify if you want to remove it automatically after 30 minutes or after a certain amount of time, you can do that as well. I also have the option to do something a little more advanced. So I can create a new account. I'm just going to call it. Not trying to. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and save this record. And again, let's give it a few seconds. And actually, let's go out of the record. And let's go and see in notifications, still not there. I'll go ahead and close this. Okay, I'll come back to this because it's going to stay this. So how is all this done? So let me go back to our Power Apps and go to the environment where this is on. And I'll go to my solutions, and I think this is the correct solution. So no, not the correct solution. Okay. So I have here two flows. My first flow is basically when a contact is added, notify. When an account is added, notify. This can be done using JavaScript, using Web API, using a flow, using a Canvas app, any way that you really want to do it. So when I look at my flow and I go ahead and click on edit here, so all I'm doing here is basically when this record was created, all I'm doing is I'm creating a new notification record. Now be careful when creating a notification record, there's a legacy notification table as well. So you will know based on the type of elements that you have. So all I'm doing, I'm creating a notification record, I'm entering a title, specifying the body of the notification. And probably the most important thing is this, the owner. So the owner is where you want this to be visible. So if I want this to be visible for Mihir, and Mihir is part of this organization, I'll specify Mihir as the owner. Right now it's specified based on the person who created it, but it can be any user within the system. And that means once this flow finishes running, it will show that notification to the user. If I go back to this record, by now it should be here. I don't know why, but okay. So let me go back to the other flow. So this is a pretty simple flow. The other flow, which specifies when an account is added, notify, has some additional logic. What happens is sometimes, like, so I open a record, I click on save and close, I'm outside of the record that was created. I want to go back to it, and maybe I don't remember exactly what I called it, or I have too many records and it's not showing on the first page of my view. So I don't really know what it is. So what I want is within my notification. This logic is the same. When I click on add a row, I'm specifying, okay, this is the data that I want you to include as part of the notification. So I'm specifying this is the label that I want to display. So I created this account name. This is the name of the account. And this is the URL that I want you to go to when the user clicks on this account name. On this account name. So it will display the same notification that I had before. Nothing is changed. Under the notification where it says the account has been created, it will have a hyperlink to go to that notification. That hyperlink can be the URL within the app. It can be an external URL if you specify like the full domain, the domain name, or basically it can be almost anything that you want. You can have not only a single action here, I can have multiple actions so that it display, open this record or show me the view, or I can control it. So for example, instead of entity record, I use entity list and I use etn equals account. It will show me my accounts view. So that's basically notifications. The tricky part about notifications is I think it's okay, I might have lost it in app notification. I can put the link in the chat window for in-app notification. There is a setting that you have to configure in your environment to specify which app you want to enable the notifications for.
Yeah, I think you have it in your deck, in your slide, you have the URL.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if we actually go to this URL, so basically I have to open, I have to go to my app, I have to go to my unified interface. You go to developer tools or so on, and you type this in, and you basically copy this into the console window. The only part here that you have to enter yourself is the unique name of the app that you want. So you have to go into your model-driven app, see the app name for your model-driven app, paste it here, and that will enable in-app notifications for your environment or for your instance. So let me just do a final check just to make sure it didn't show up. No, okay. I am not sure why. Maybe I dismissed it or something. I don't know. But it should have shown up. Yeah. Okay. So here, I'm going to stop presenting and you can take it away.
Okay, but before I start, if there are any questions for Eric, we can have those questions. I hope everybody's okay to go ahead for another 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, it's here. Sorry for going over.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if you can see it. Can you see my screen? Yep. Can you see my screen, guys?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, mate.
Okay. All right, cool. So this would be a very condensed version of the demo. I probably take 10 minutes. And there are two main things I'm going to focus on the Wave 2 updates. One is part of sales and the other one is part of customer service, the workspace app. And in sales, I'm going to focus on sales accelerator. So in sales, we have the Teams integration. The Teams integration is not new, but some enhancements have been made to it. So you can actually make a call and you can chat right from within Dynamics 365. It's probably available now, but I have not configured that for this demo. What we have also is a sales accelerator, which is part of very new, and it is part of sales premium licensing. And within that, I'll show forecasting, pipeline management, and deal manager. So let me start with that. Okay, so I'm in my sales. I created a trial environment. And if you look at this, what we have here is a sales accelerator, and this is kind of an inbox view. So this tells me what are the important things that I've been working on, and it gives me, if I click on any of this, I can see this is a lead, and this is a lead where I'm going to look at what is the most important thing I need to work on. So up next from my current working stage with the lead, I can see my next thing I need to work on is to create an introduction mail. So somebody who is working in sales and has a team to manage, the manager can set a sequence of events that needs to be happen in a particular sequence that the sales associates needs to, or sales reps needs to work on, and they need to complete that. So that is the new functionality is what is called the sequencing within the sales accelerator of events for entities like leads and opportunities. And in addition to that, there are in the accelerator there are other functionalities which helps to get focus on the lead score. For example, what is the lead score? Is it steady? Is it going up or down? And those kind of things I can see right from my lead form itself. So let me show you how that gets set up. So if I go to my Sales Insight settings, so I have this whole section called Sales Accelerator, and the setup is required here. So an admin or a person who has access can set up all this. Define the team access, automatic lead, and opportunity assignment. So this is also great because this is round robin parts. Anybody who hasn't been in sales have done sales applications, they would know that automatic lead assignment or round robin was not earlier easily doable, and this is now allow you to set up some assignment rules for lead assignment and opportunity assignment here. So the segments is marketing segmentation kind of thing. That is more of a, how do you classify those leads and how do you segment them into groups of leads or opportunities, and you can have those segmentation done in multiple ways. So you can have multiple setups for leads and different setup for opportunities, and you can create your own segments. Sequences is what I was showing earlier. So you can have your own sequences. There's a lead nurturing and opportunity nurturing sequence. So if I want to quickly show you, so if you want a sequence that needs to be followed by every lead for every lead, and you can set up the sequence here, and this is how the lead has to be managed. You can have this in the Sales Accelerator. There is the team settings and the assignment rules, which I talked earlier also. So going back to my app settings here. So in this, I wanted to show you is the part which is new is the Teams call. So, Teams calls, team chat and channels, these are the new, but I'm not going to go through the process of setting that up right now. There are some enhancements to the timeline. The chat and collaboration, we already talked about it. So, within this, we can enable enhanced Microsoft Teams integration, and the LinkedIn integration is the new part. This is where you have the Sales Navigator integration with the LinkedIn. So within that, you can have targeted leads, gain insights, and close deals. Helps you to do all of that. I have some slides on this also if needed. We can go over it. Go through the sales part. So next is forecasting. So and this is also pretty new. I'm not sure if anybody has seen some of the sales forecasting that you can do, but this is allows you to create a forecast, and you can see you can drill down by account, you can drill down by other profiles that you have. If you have any other forecasting here opportunity, you have the quota forecast one. You can have forecasts for different time frames, different quarters or different years if you already have those kind of opportunities in place. And you can have the best case scenario, and there is a calculation for the pipeline, the gap to quota, and pipeline coverage ratio. So these are some of the new ways of being able to forecast and have a dashboard shown to the sales rep. So see how productive they are and what is their forecast looks like. The basics or the underlying records which you see here are right here. So this is all my opportunities here, which I can see in a tabular view. I can also see the same thing as a Kanban view. So I can see in the pipeline best case committed, and this as a Kanban view itself. Okay, I'll quickly jump to the customer service space. So we saw some of this part. So the customer service side, I want to talk about the productivity. There's a new app itself. This is called the Customer Service Workspace app, and this is new for this release, Wave 2. It has a productivity pane which shows Smart Assist, agent scripts, macro, knowledge search, and there is a new functionality called subject hierarchy, which you can see in the Lookup itself. So if you have worked with omni-channel engagement before, this has some of the functionality which was there in the omni-channel engagement. Now we have it here. So if I am on the customer service workspace app, I can do multitasking. So if I open up a case, I can go right from in this case, and it creates what is called a kind of a shortcut or a button here right for me on the side panel itself. I can go back to home, and it still keeps that case open right there for me. So now if I open another case, there is a new session which is created. Now I'm able to move from one case to another without having to having to close the case form or anything. So it's a productivity gain for me, right? That helps me here. Now if I open a record within this, so if I have opened this customer record, if I click on the customer record, it opens it as a tab. So now I can move not only between the case, but within the case, I can move from the case to the customer record itself. So that's another productivity gain. It helps me to work smarter and faster in this. The other new thing here is the Smart Assist. So in Smart Assist, we have the knowledge article suggestions, and this is driven through the research, just driven through the AI part of it, where you have the case, and based on the case title as well as the description, it suggests what are the knowledge articles that you need to, it comes up with those suggestions. Similarly to similar case suggestions, so it looks at the title and the description. In addition to that, I have the agent script. So this was also part of omnichannel. Used to have the agent scripts. Now I can, within my customer service workspace, I have a script that I can talk to while I'm calling the customer, and the calls are done through whatever Teams or any other integrations you have. And then greet customer, update case, resolve case. I can also have a macro within here to update the case, or I can have a macro to resolve the case. So macros or content for agent scripting can be added to this. So that's part of this new workspace for this. And then finally, the knowledge search. So I can search for on knowledge base while I'm working on the case with my sessions and tabs open. I can do a search for knowledge articles right from here. Last point I wanted to show was this lookup screen. Okay, so if I look at the subject record, I have enabled what is called the hierarchy. So you would have a hierarchy on a subject, and you can have different levels of hierarchy. So I added a control. There's a new control called selection tree view control. I think it's only available for the web right now, not for the phone and tablet. And what that enables to do is, if you are on the case form, and let me just go to the case form, right? Okay, I should just go to the case form, and I'm looking at the subject. I'm looking for the subject. I can look for the hierarchy of the subjects. So if I have products, within the products, I have electronics and filtration, and I have printed circuit board. So this is the hierarchy that is enabled with this new wave to release. Okay, so I think that's a short and sweet part of my demo, and I'll stop here, and thank you very much, everyone. Arun?
Hey,
Eric, you want
thanks,
to close?
Mahir.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll give you to Eric, our usual closing note guy. Eric, you can take forward.
You want me to close?
Yes, Eric. Thanks for the great session, Eric and Mahir. Applause.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so before we close, any questions for me or for me here regarding anything that we presented or anything that we did not present? Okay. So just a couple announcements. Like we mention every time, we have the Business Application New York NYC user group on the Microsoft Power Platform user groups or Power Platform user groups. The goal is eventually to move away from Meetup and use this platform as our unique platform for this. We're probably still some time away, but better migrate a little bit sooner rather than later. So a few announcements. Microsoft Ignite. If nobody knows if you don't know what Microsoft Ignite is, go to, I think, myignite.microsoft.com. Register. There is basically hundreds of sessions related to Power Platform Dynamics, Azure, modern workspace, basically everything Microsoft's related. Some of it is existing functionality, but the majority of these sessions are basically the direction of Microsoft, like what is coming up in the near future, what we can expect, any releases that are coming up, and things that Microsoft is working on. So it's just a great presentation. There is some very good presentations. I always like the keynote from Satya, but there's also keynotes from Charles Lamana and Alisa. I forget her last name. She's going to kill me. And and they're going to cover like the Power Platform and Dynamics 365 changes. If you didn't get enough of Wave 2, if you want to learn more, basically here are a couple of links on the Microsoft Docs website. You can also download a PDF with this documentation if you want to read like a few hundred or like 400 pages in each one of these releases. It will basically give you an overview of what has been released and what is planned to be released in the next, I don't know, 4 to 6 months. There is some changes in Canvas app. There's a new app start screen declarative model because there's some issues with adding the navigate on the app on start. And in general, I think a recommendation is there are certain things that should not be on the app on start. So Microsoft added some of these options in to the Canvas app that was released, I think, last week. Custom help panes were added, I don't know, very long time ago. They finally made it to GA in the last couple of weeks, I think. And I'd say try them out. There is some major improvements to what was released for private or public preview months back. And finally, the last thing is Microsoft enabled multiple portal creation within single database environments. So if you're using portals and you don't have 5 database environments, 1 for each portal, you should be able to create multiple portals within a single environment. And most of this stuff is available. There's a lot more news available on powerappsmicrosoft.com/enus/blog. Last thing is our next event. We don't have a date yet. We'll probably have a date sometime soon. Originally this was planned for this month. We delayed it till after Ignite due to some announcements that Microsoft might be making related to this presentation. So we're planning to have Microsoft SMEs from the product group that will talk about the moving from the data export service to Azure Data Lake and Azure Synapse Lake. That kind of covers everything for us. As soon as we have this information, we'll post it and we'll share it with everyone via email and social media. And we will be putting this recording on YouTube, and usually we send an email once the recording is available for everybody to see. If you don't know our YouTube channel, we have, I don't know, we have about 20 videos in our YouTube channel from the last NYC events and also from recent events of the Power Platform. And this is basically the one place where we have all the recordings. So I'll actually put this right now in the chat window if anybody wants to see. If anybody wants to see any of the past events. So thank you very much, everybody. Any last questions before we sign out?
We have a question, Arik, in the chat from Gabriel. It's about our social media handle.
What exactly do you mean, Gabriel? You can also unmute yourself and ask the question. I guess Mihir posted that.
Yeah, I just know the name. Yeah.
Mihir, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's a hashtag. Probably if you're looking for a LinkedIn or Instagram or Twitter handle, we don't have one, but we use hashtag mostly.
Oh, okay.
And we have meetup group and YouTube channel. That's the only thing. Probably, Eric. That's a good thing. Maybe NYC Metro. We have to start a handle in Twitter. And
the hashtag is just the name.
And LinkedIn. Yep. a page in Facebook or whatnot, so we can
Yeah.
post.
There's so many things we can do.
No bandwidth.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks everybody again for joining, and we hope to see you all next month.
Thank you, guys. Happy Halloween.
Thank you. Happy Halloween. Yes.